complain about it, and you can feel good about them complaining about it. But they're never actually going to solve the problem themselves. Farage is a disgrace, yeah.
And I think in terms of the way we dealt with that, we could probably more brutal than the other parties. But you know what? That's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, well, they can say the same thing, but now you're complaining about it. And then also, like, and this is the other issue, too, is listen to this again.
That just moves way beyond the point of reasonableness, of decency, of morality.
And there's no real explanation for why that's the case. There's no explanation for why that's bad or what the reason for it is at all. It's just somebody that's going out there saying this to shut down conversation. They want popularity without doing the work. Well, the main thing that they want, and this is what I think it is that they want to be liked by the people that are, you know, in my opinion, just trying to openly make everything worse. That's what the main issue. Oh, here it is.
Nigel Farage has just admitted that the reason he threw Ruflo out of Reform and reported him to the police was because he supports mass deportations. It was nothing to do with bullying or death threats to Zia Youssef.
That's right.
Farage alleges that we want to...
And by the way, mass deportations are, like, that's what has to happen. I think we need to do this in the United States. Like, all of the Western countries, I think, need to do mass deportations. Because there has been a contagion that's happened where a lot of people have been basically brainwashed into thinking that the only way that they can effectively, like, make the country better or, you know, wash away whatever original sin that they think that they have because of some sins of, you know, some person that's dead. Like, Hitler did this bad thing, and so now we have to let all of the foreigners into the country. Every single country should be doing this, whether it's Britain, whether it's Germany, whether it's America, whether it's Canada, or whether it's Australia. There is a very clear problem here, and it is reinforced in every instance of it existing.
...for entire communities. And he's absolutely right. A Restore Britain government would support every last foreign rape gang collaborator.
That's right.
Wives, brothers, sisters, cousins,
children
who knew about the rapes.
Yep, absolutely.
Following our inquiry, it could not be more...
That's the right option, by the way. Like, why would you not want to get rid of the people that let the rape gangs happen? Like, yeah, you just get rid of all of them. Like, what do you, like, duh, of course.
Clear that this is the right thing to do. These crimes are an open secret in these communities. If Farage is not prepared to grapple with this reality, that's okay. But trying to ruin Ruflo's life because he is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
And if you're a member of Reform, ask yourself whether you want this man who is now pranked by the likes of Robert Jenner and Zahawi running your country. And if you don't, join us at Restore Britain.
I think that Nigel Farage did a great job 10 years ago helping push Brexit, and I think that he was a great... Like, this is another thing, is that people like Nigel Farage have their place in things, and I think very early on, he did play a good role in, you know, kind of changing the political spectrum, but now that political spectrum has evolved beyond his own views, and I think that he should step aside and let these new people take the reins instead, because obviously I think, you know, he was the man of the hour at that time, but, you know, before that... Oh, this is what happened. Wait, what's this here?
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Oh, I never seen this.
Might as well bring everyone else along. The destroyer can be back too.
Here's the footage of the armed police raiding my home late on a Friday night thanks to Zia Youssef's lies. Now Farage's choice to be Home Secretary, all supported by Reform leadership, supported by Farage. On the 14th of March at 21:30, armed police arrived in my home unannounced, 3 vehicles with 4 armed officers. I'm a farmer, I own guns, entirely legally and properly. The previous day, I had arranged with the police to voluntarily give up my guns because of Youssef's lies. I was not impressed to have had armed police suddenly show up at my doorstep late at night. The officers stayed until almost midnight, and they confiscated my guns and left. It took so much time that I have a large collection, so a wheelbarrow was required. Of course, everything was dropped and I got my guns back. Youssef's lies put my family through an ordeal, supported every way by Reform's leadership. Today, we find out that it all happened because Farage didn't like my comment on mass deporting foreign rapists. The day he announces Youssef as his potential Home Secretary to lead the police. If he did it to me, he'll do it to you. Oh my God. Why is the UK so obsessed with rapists? Because the rapists have a different skin color and religion, so the people in the UK are afraid of telling them no. That's the reason why. And this is all the people showing up. Yeah, it's actually that simple. Oh boy. And they're sending all these people up. I mean, this is obviously just to fucking intimidate the guy. And this is what's crazy, is that they have all this energy to intimidate somebody that wants to push for mass deportation, but they don't have any of this energy to go after the people for the reason why people want the mass deportation. Isn't that interesting? That's a deeply dangerous oversimplification. It's actually not an oversimplification. I actually think it is that simple. And the reason why I think that, here's the main reason why I think that. It's because most people don't think in complexities. So if you can't explain something in like 1 or 2 sentences, the odds are that's not what's going on in people's minds. Just on a very basic level. Most people don't think in complex, multifaceted layers of, you know, like complex motivations. They think very clearly, cause and effect, this happened, I respond, that happened, I respond. So if you're trying to exist beyond that spectrum, you are probably not understanding what a normal person is thinking. Like, that's just the way it is. And this is more of these people showing up. Oh my god. Well, there it is. I'll see if there's any more of these that are worth looking at, but yeah, holy shit, we had to get rid of them. Yep, that's exactly it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Give me 1 second. Okay, and this is literally oppressing your people. What's wrong with Western politics? Well, the reason why they do it, it's actually very, very simple. It's extremely simple. And an ex-Englishman know who their leader is. What's the
Do you support supporting all of those people? It's impossible. Literally impossible. But is it you do support supporting all of those people? It's impossible.
No, it's why. Why is it impossible to do?
Literally impossible.
What?
Never miss.
But is it your ambition? No.
If that means millions go, then millions go. This is Britain, and we will do it.
I will always lend a hand.
Yeah, you just get the military and get rid of them, round them all up, figure out where they live, and go get them. Like, what are we talking about? This is crazy. I don't even know how this is hard at all. Oh my god. I don't get how people can't see something like this and realize that it's so obviously fucking bad, right? And that's the English twist. How is it possible? It's easy. You just get it. Yeah, you just go get them. Like, this is insane. I'll see if there's any more of these that are worth looking at, but I feel like that's pretty much the main one. Oh.
Moving on to Rhiannon from the Press Association.
Rhiannon from the Press Association. Your former colleague and friend Rupert Lowe has just launched Restore Britain. Are you feeling threatened at all by Restore Britain? And particularly now he's had the backing of Elon Musk, and it could split your vote.
I don't know about former friend. He sued me in 2019.
I can see why.
As he sues everybody.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at the history of Southampton Football Club, and then look at the history of WH Ireland, which he chaired in the city of London, you will see he was removed from both of those roles after lawsuits galore and 2 very dramatic EGMs.
Oh, wow.
Friend would be stretching it just a little bit. There are, last time we counted, 11 parties that claim to be on the right or centre-right of British politics.
Yeah.
From the Heritage Party to goodness knows who else. There is only one proper brand of centre-right politics in this country. It's called Reform. And as I'd mentioned earlier, you know, people think, oh, Farage has done it. We'll just set a party up. It'll be marvellous. We'll sweep the next election. It just isn't as easy as that. Now, does he have a profile on X? Yes, he does. Is Elon going to support him?
We saw.
Rid of him and get rid of the T. And that was the moment at which, you know, I realised we just had to get rid of it and get rid of him as quickly as we could. And I think in terms of the way we dealt with that, we were probably more brutal than the other parties. But you know what? That's the way it's going to be.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
No, I just wanted to confirm it, so I made sure I heard what I was saying.
Man. Well. So these are kids too. They're kids. Jesus. Can you believe that? They letting the kids go out there and do this? Oh my God.
30 seconds before you attack. Get
Yep.
ready.
You can see. And the thing is, how do you solve this
I would
problem?
knit the dimensions back together. If it
How
were
do you solve the
within
problem?
Open your
You
eyes.
go and you put the teachers on
Reality
trial
is
for
but an
this shit.
illusion.
Because they shouldn't even be like, you can't get mad at them. They're kids. They're just, who gives a fuck, right? The teachers let them go out and
The
do
battle
this.
starts in 5.
You've got to go
4,
after the teachers for
3,
this stuff. You do.
2,
And the
1.
moment that you go after the
All
teachers,
you need to do is capture
then
the
you're going to
mission
have all
area.
these problems
Got it?
go away. That's it. They're all about the vote. Yeah, and you got to. There's a lot of different ways to look at it and approach it. But overall, I do think this is where we're at. And then, we got another one too. A video of a Washington State high school student screaming, "I want my mommy," as she's being arrested after assaulting officers during an anti-ICE school walkout is going viral. Beautiful. Oh God, I love it. I do. I love it. And same girl, music to my ears. And the thing is, though, is that this is a girl in high school. There's no reason that she should have been out there doing this in the first place. So why did that happen? It happened because the teachers let them go out there and do it. The teacher should be held responsible for that. That's it. Same group of kids from the last video? I don't know if it is or not. It could be a different group. I have no idea. She ugly crying too. Now she wants her mommy? Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame her, right? I mean, you can't. I mean, that's what happens. But that's really, in my opinion, I think that you have to go after the teachers for this. They do. You have to go after them, and you have to be aggressive about it. You do. Teachers and parents, absolutely. Don't teachers still need signed permission to have their kids leave campus for this type of shit? That's the thing, right? Is that they should need that. And if they're not taking that, they're not doing all that, then you need to go after them. And if you had somebody going after them doing that, all this stuff would go away overnight. This is an old video. Oh, this one? Yeah, this is, look at this.
Every woman that's getting an abortion is due to medical procedures? No, they're not. Okay, sorry to hear that. That's not most abortions. Have you looked at statistics? No, it's less than 1.7%. You don't know the statistic.
Miscarriages are extremely common, and most women often have.
Miscarriages and abortion are different. What is abortion?
No, a miscarriage is a medical abortion.
No, it's not. Okay, let me educate you, okay?
Yes, it
Well, hold on,
yes.
hold on. Give back, hey, give back. Hey.
Hey,
Get
that's
back.
not okay.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Stop.
Oh my God.
Don't put your hands on her.
I require some...
She's crashing out. She left her kid, so she should get in a fight over this? Oh my God. Crime more, bitch. Look at this. They're so violent, aren't they? Oh my, in front of her kid, too. And she had a full fucking milkshake and she threw it at him. No accountability? I know. Again, the reason why these people do this is because they're not afraid of getting hit back. That's what I think. I think that if you do this and somebody punches you in the face, I think it is completely deserved. If you're one of these women that's going around hitting people and being violent and aggressive, and some guy punches you in the face, you shouldn't have done it. Yeah, you shouldn't have done it. I hate this weird double standard that we have, that women can just be violent and aggressive like this, and men have no way to respond to it other than just get hit. Yeah, you flagged for PvP, exactly. You shouldn't have done it. And so base, they're kind of empathetic. Yeah, in front of her kid, I know. This woman, I completely agree. Yeah, there's no reason to hit somebody. Absolutely. I will 100% defend yourself. Yeah. And who thinks this is okay? All of the women that do it. Do you think this woman would do that if she thought that the guy was going to punch her at full force in the face? Do you really think that she would do this? Of course not. She wouldn't even imagine it. The reason why she's doing it is because she thinks that she can get away with it. Respecting the guy for not hanging back in front of the kid, though, I do. Actually, I wouldn't because I feel the kid, right? But like, and that's the problem. Is the legal system is completely in favor of people like this. It's totally in favor. But I would support this. Like, if this guy knocked this bitch out right in front of her kid, I would say face. Absolutely unfathomably gay. That's the way it should be. What's your take on abortion? I don't give a fuck if people want to get abortions or not, but it's not the problem. Just because I don't like abortions doesn't mean I get to punch somebody who does. Or sorry, just because I like abortions, or not like, but I don't care about abortions, doesn't mean I get to punch somebody in the face who does. Too much force, but it warrants a slap? I disagree. I want to live in a world where you don't like to touch people because if you touch them, they could hurt you. I think that we can live in a world where touching people without their consent is not something that you're allowed to do, and people don't do it. I don't like this touching people without their consent situation. It's weird. Yeah, hurt, not kill. Well, people can get killed if you hit them. That's just what happens. So don't touch people. It is literally that simple. Yeah, it's respect people's boundaries. How do you feel about duels with real guns? Sure, if it's consensual, have fun. Yeah, definitely. And what was this year? I think Fistbone's the best. He attacked him, so any self-defense is reasonable. Absolutely. And yeah, I'm very glad to see this. And hopefully more people do that. And I would totally support that. Oh, watch this.
You don't step out of the car, we're going to break the window, we're going to remove you from the vehicle, you're going to be arrested for felony obstruction. I understand that.
Here we go.
My strength is increased.
I don't need to come out. No,
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up on that, Tommy.
The moon wants you again!
What's she under arrest for? What's she under arrest for? Driving without a license. Big mistake. Oh, here we go. Isn't it crazy how the police are just adult daycare? Isn't that insane to me?
Armed and
That they're basically just adult daycare.
Agamotto, the moon
None of this had to happen.
wants you.
Like, I never really understood the kind of bullshit that these police officers had to deal with until I really watched some of these body cam videos. And like, these people are fucking morons. Yeah, it's like it's adult daycare. Like, we're spending all this money micromanaging these retards.
An object of weakness is covered.
Just get out of the car. Just get out. Jesus. Just open it, and she's trying to drive. She's trying to drive the car.
The moon wants you. Magneto!
She out of her mind. Look at that. Oh shit. What? What's she hit? What's she at? All of this was escalated because she just wouldn't get out of the car. Everything, all of it. Like, you're about to ruin your life because you just wouldn't get out of the car.
Cosmos heals you.
Adult daycare. Here we go. Go get her ass. Here we go. There it is,
Against the world. The moon wants you.
I'll pull it over you guys.
Unite.
That's a random ass person too. Man. That's a random ass person. That's her. She crashed out hard. Jesus. baby in the car? Jesus Christ.
Hey, one of you guys come up here, so I'll go take care of him.
Oh my God.
This is your big chance!
Wild animals, you're right. She didn't do nothing. What do you mean she didn't do nothing? Are you kidding me? At this point, you want to crash down with your car like upside down. Oh, I didn't do anything. Like, are you retarded? Yeah. Get that. I love how, like, what do you think is going to happen? You think you're going to get away?
She didn't do nothing. She's pregnant. She didn't do. She's
The backseat driver?
Backseat driver, please get her up.
No, okay.
Manslaughter?
Don't worry. No, I understand.
Can you imagine how great society would be if we just locked all these people up? Like, how much you want to bet this bitch probably had problems before this? You could just lock this person up a while ago. Like, we'd be living. I'm telling you guys, like, there'd be no jewel cases in CDL. You'd be able to go. This is.
Denims and Casey Tron stepping into a bit of hot water today in different circumstances in the lawsuit with Ethan Klein. We have updates for you today, all the details on The Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney over here in Asia. And this is a fast facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. So in case you didn't know, there are three parties and some sub-John Doe parties in a copyright infringement lawsuit with Ethan Klein and his company TED Entertainment over his content nuke of Hasan Piker. And that is an ongoing lawsuit. But all of the parties are in different positions, and we've still got a lot of stuff that's going on there, but the Reddit and Discord mods we're not going to talk about today. But the three parties, the main parties are, of course, Denims, Casey Tron, and Frogan. So Denims is in the position where she has committed herself to trial. So she has said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to proceed with trial, and that's what I want. But the problem is that Denims has not shut up about the lawsuit on the internet.
Ethan Klein, his bread and butter content for basically the entirety of his career has been maliciously reacting.
So now we have lots of information about Denims and Denims' legal strategy. Now we have Casey Tron. Now Casey Tron can be considered perhaps one of the smarter ones of the three, in that she settled a lawsuit that she clearly perceived she was going to lose. She was bleeding resources, as is the case with these lawsuits. And she entered into a settlement with Ethan Klein, is now paying him out, getting money that was raised in her defense, but is now going towards Ethan Klein into Ethan Klein's pocket. And on top of that, she issued a statement, an apology. And that's going to be the very key thing we're going to talk about here, with some warnings for Casey Tron and what she needs to watch out for. Just looking out in the best interest of Casey Tron, so she's careful in the future, because Ethan Klein gave her a little hint in a recent clip. And of course, I'm not forgetting about my Habibi Frogan. Now, she's not the main character today. She's kind of a side character in this, because she's actually been rather intelligent as well. She's remained silent. She's really shut up about the lawsuit, which is smart. And she actually got an extension on some of her responsive filings, so she's got time to respond. So she's not off the hook. And I still would advise Frogan to go and settle with Ethan Klein, similar to Casey Tron, but I know that she's probably holding out because the apology that she may be required to make by Ethan Klein is something she perhaps doesn't want to make publicly, and for the same reasons that Casey Tron is going to struggle with an apology, now Frogan might struggle even more with her apology. So let's get into the first video when we talk about first. So we're going to talk about Denims announcing no settlement and desire for trial in the next statement. And then we're going to get into Casey Tron settling, giving out an apology, and now hinting at meeting. So let's watch this clip from Denims, which really gets us started off on her feelings about reaction content and what's good and what's bad. And the important thing to pay attention to with Denims, because it goes to her legal strategy, is it is a subjective, emotional argument. This is an argument from a year ago, and then we're going to pair this up with a reason.
Here, we'll make this on a grander scale.
Now, remind you, the question here is, what is your stance on reaction channels, reacting to your content, and essentially re-uploading it? So this is about this. This is kind of quintessential to the Klein list.
If you check your bank account and Chase accidentally refunded you an extra $50, you might look at that and be like, they were supposed to refund you for some charge or something, then they actually gave you another $50. And you see that, and you're like, I didn't see anything. Listen, they can correct it. They can find it themselves. They can correct it. If some old lady on the street's like, hey, you know, do you have change for a $10 bill? Nobody cares. But like,
I do.
Change for a $10 bill, I just need to pay the meter. And she hands you a $50 bill instead of a $10 bill. And says, I'm so tough right now, but gotta pay the meter, and you keep the 50. See how one of those feels morally worse?
And note her focus here is on the feelings. Right now, she's going to say this in a second, but that is absolutely not the law, and she's totally confusing the law and what's actually theft here and not theft. And by the way, this is not copyright infringement, is distinguishable. It's different than actual theft, but the pairing is there.
One of those feels like you're stealing from someone who does need it, or you're stealing from, I don't know, not a corporation. One of those feels worse. We're not talking about legality. It's theft regardless. We're talking about what is morally worse. It's theft regardless.
So let's focus on that. It's not theft. So let's just be very clear in that example, because that was a very bad example when you're coming to theft. Theft requires an action plus intent, right? So if, for example, a bank had a sort of clerical error or some sort of IT error where they send you too much money, on your side, you don't have any intent to steal there. You might not even notice, etc. And, you know, once again, they're not pairing up an action on your end to defraud them or to take that money from them in an unjust way to enrich yourself. That's not something you're doing in that example. So that example, kind of, let's throw that one down completely. Stealing from little old lady is definitely morally bad, right? You could make an argument in that scenario whether there's intent or not, whatever. But the point is, neither one of those really good examples, because you're not going out there and making a statement, once again, that's the Klein lawsuit, that you want to make huge IG revenue from someone that redirect people from that content. That's the key here in this distinction. And she's going to continue to make that blurry line when it comes to the most recent case. Amaru is going to talk about reacting and reaction content and what's not okay, but she's actually not directly talking about the Ethan Klein lawsuit, but because of the Ethan Klein lawsuit, Denims drags her into this and ends up coming at her pretty ridiculously. Let's listen. Now that's the key there. Amaru nails it. Without being a lawyer, without making internet content, without anything else, it's the statement that you're going out there publicly and saying, watch me instead of that content as a replacement for that content. Rather than being transformative, rather than being original, rather than being something that can be watched as well as the original content, you're saying, I am going to use my reaction content to purely steal from you, and making that open and public and notorious and let everybody know that that's exactly what you're doing, because that's the dividing line. And without even really trying there, Amaru nails it. Let's see what Denims says.
The craziest thing about all of this is the person bringing this lawsuit, his bread and butter content is basically the entirety of the industry has been maliciously reacting. That is to say, reacting in like distaste for the person who created the original content.
So let's be very clear. She's trying to confuse the word malicious here, because in her case, where malicious comes in is her public action and public statement about redirecting views. It's not about whether you dislike somebody or not. You can hate somebody and react to their content. right? But she's trying to use the word malicious in a weird way to kind of confuse everybody here. So don't get side railed on that.
What she suggests. That you can't just react to people that you hate. You can't do that, which is not how the law works, by the way. You can react to whoever. You don't have to like the person you're reacting to.
So she's got one thing right. Yes, you can definitely react to people you don't like. In fact, that can be great content. Reacting to somebody you hate and then totally debunking their arguments is absolutely awesome content sometimes. But you cannot go out there and use your content and your platform as a replacement for what they're doing and say you're doing that and advertise that you're doing that.
Okay. If you enjoyed not giving
which is Denim's key problem here, which is the really core of the issue with Denim. So looking at the arguments from Denim, she's still crafting emotion-based arguments on the relative evil of Ethan Klein and the bad he's going to do from this judgment. But she's revealing her legal strategy. She's telling literally Ethan Klein's lawyers so they can prepare a counter-argument in trial, which is going to be easily debunked when she's trying to claim that Ethan Klein's lawsuit is about disliking the content creator you're reacting to and would prohibit reacting to people you dislike. That's not the framing of Ethan Klein's lawsuit if you've paid attention on this channel in our review in depth on that lawsuit, on the filings. That's not how it's framed at all, or how a ruling would result. I can tell you right now, 100% mindset guarantee that in no way, if Ethan Klein won, would a U.S. court say, you can no longer react to content you don't like. That's not going to happen. I don't care what judge is on there. I don't care their political position or their views. That's not something that's going to happen in U.S. jurisprudence. However, when they may make a very clear ruling about making open and clear statements to divert revenue and divert views. And when you're making an open, clear statement, you're making it public, that, once again, changes the balancing act on what's fair use and what's transformative and what's not. And that can be a very heavy weight when you're weighing these things out. And I think that's the thing that Denims is just completely missing. Now, turn to Casey. So Casey Tron issued an apology as part of the settlement with Ethan Klein. And the issue is that Casey Tron can run into trouble if she changed her position on the Ethan Klein lawsuit or potentially reversed any of the apologies. So if she actually ended up, backing out of her apology, for example, saying, hey, I now think the Ethan Klein lawsuit is BS. That would violate her agreement with Ethan Klein, and Ethan Klein can bring down the hammer on her for that. Also, if there's any other specific apologies which she backs down on, for example, certain things that she said and apologized to Asmongold for, that would be a possible cause for Ethan Klein to come back in and also drop the hammer. Now, that doesn't mean she can't disagree with anything that Asmongold says or other content creator says. It doesn't mean she can't dislike people. It doesn't mean she can't go out there and react to content and have her opinions. But she does need to think carefully. And this is something that Ethan Klein just recently reminded her of.
Casey Tron, friend of the show and my favorite benefactor. She's my favorite patron. Isn't it nice getting a check every month?
All that GoFundMe, remember, all that GoFundMe money that's left over is all going to Ethan Klein. Isn't that great for all those that donated to Casey Tron? Beautiful.
From my favorite patron, so friend of the show, Casey Tron, everybody. And she has a take about everything. I'm surprised she's still running her mouth. I recall her apologizing to Asmongold, who she despises. That was pretty humiliating. I'm surprised she's still running her mouth. By the way, guys, why are you so mad at her? Like, they're talking about her so nasty. She didn't do anything.
It's going to be brought up exactly why they are talking about her nasty, because it's rooted in this whole narrative that's going on in the Hassan orbit right now regarding the Ethan Klein lawsuit. So the root of the anonymity there is because it really relates back maybe not in whole, but at least in part to that Ethan Klein lawsuit in Moscow, which is where she is. You have to be careful.
Except be like, why do I need to say fuck ICE? Like, I'm just here playing video games, right?
First fucking men. And
Well, I'm guessing it's the same reason that Denim is throwing you on her, because of what you said about the lawsuit.
Well, I don't know why she's mad. That was Casey. I think maybe Casey don't forget that was a statement. Like, she also thought my lawsuit was like really bad, and she wished me luck against the other people too.
She did that.
So I think Casey John must have forgotten her position on this, right? Hopefully, I don't have to remind her. Right?
There we go. And once again, that little bar, hope I don't have to remind her, because if he's got a reminder, that's going to be some legal process. Now, I want to be very clear. Nothing that Casey Tron said there is a very short clip. She didn't say anything that's going to necessarily violate that. But when she's reacting to content, she does need to be careful, and she needs to be careful that she doesn't accidentally react to some content that's anti-Ethan Klein lawsuit and then bring out another position. That's a little helpful hint for Casey Tron, that she just needs to be careful when she's reacting to content, because she can maybe indirectly, maybe inadvertently, violate that agreement with you.
You'll need a
And that's what
top-notch
she's got
team
to be
win
careful.
this one.
So let's go to the judge. So in summary today, Denim still doesn't understand subjective feelings towards reaction content versus objective statements on redirecting viewers. That's a concept she's not getting. And obviously, her legal team has told her that's the strategy, and she's now revealing that for the world, which is going to make this case even easier. A case that was already balanced against Denim's, Brogan, and Casey Tron, make this case even easier for them as they go to trial. At this point, if I was her lawyer, and certainly I think her lawyer should, send her the memo to shut up. Stay quiet. Take the Brogan path. Right? That would be better at this point than giving away your ridiculous position and once again explaining to everybody that this is about facts over feelings. Casey Tron, meanwhile, hasn't said anything to violate the settlement yet, but needs to be careful to avoid carelessly copying the Hassan Orbit talking points of the week, whatever they are focus firing on. That might be something that might get her into trouble, because she goes overboard and says more than she can. And, maybe if you're out there not paying attention, maybe you're, token on something, that might actually make you slip up. But I want to know what you guys think about the lawsuit. What do you think about what's going on? And I will catch you on the next one. Today we have an update on the Johnny Somali trial that's going to happen tomorrow, and his deepfake settlement, which is now in danger on the eve of his trial. Of course, it's a legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esper, American attorney over here in Asia, and this is a fast facts video, a quick and dirty version of the latest on legal news. So let's get right into the situation with Somali, the trial, where it's at. Before we get into that tomorrow, of course, Ramsey Khalid Ismail is the name, so we'll be using Ramsey interchangeably throughout this. So the background is the last trial was on October 29th. It's been quite a while since his last trial. Once again, in Korea, the process is the punishment. He is not in jail pending trial. He's out. He's living, still staying with Hank in his apartment. And during that October trial, as a refresher, there were two witnesses, Hank and Youngman. Those were two people involved in the deepfakes involving Johnny Somali, with Johnny Somali had made a deepfake of Korean streamer Youngman, who's a little bit of a character himself. He actually has criminal charges for throwing a brick through a courthouse window, but there had been a deepfake of him and Hank together, let's say, in what is a sexually explicit, poses. They're hardly naked and making out, right? So that was shown to his audience, and that was also shown to Youngman's audience. So they were both charged with deepfake charge over this incident that happened last year. Now, tomorrow, Bong Bong is scheduled to attend tomorrow. We have some updates on her attending, because she was up in the air whether or not she's going to go or not go, or she's going to not show up. But we now have confirmation to show you guys that she is indeed coming tomorrow. And it looks like she's got a good mindset for going to trial. Now, if she didn't show up, theoretically, the trial will be delayed until she gets back. So technically, if she didn't show up tomorrow, if she got sick, if she was in an accident, God forbid, or if something happened, she just put it in 10, it would be delayed until she testifies. they are going to wait until she testifies. So tomorrow, it's very possible. In fact, I'm going to say the standard is the trial will be closed. When there's a victim testimony like this, they typically close the courtroom, and unless the victim goes out of their way to say, I want this open, it's going to be closed. So although Bong Bong has the option to open the courtroom, the chances are it's going to be closed because she may not even know that she has that option to open the courtroom, and she may not want to open the courtroom. So we're going to presume that it's going to be closed tomorrow. And then I do my live coverage, and they have a little delay just because I presume it's closed. But there's an update on the settlement with Youngman. Now, some background here, Youngman and Somali came together and then they had a settlement 4 months ago. So 4 months ago, Youngman and Ramsey had an unofficial agreement to settle the deepfake charges. However, both of the cases have continued uninterrupted with no changes to either case. So we're now updating our chart, which I'll show you, where we had removed one of the deepfake claims because we thought this settlement was going to go through. We thought this settlement was going to be done. It was going to be dropped. But now we're looking at the files. We're looking at the court case, on the eve of this, and neither one, both in Youngman's case and Somali, neither one has been dropped. So that says a lot, and I think that this is getting them worried because the prosecutors today have the discretion to keep or drop charges. It's not on the parties. The parties can say we want to drop things, and that can influence the prosecutor. The prosecutor can say, nope, actually we think this is bad, we think this is discouraged, and we want to keep this there. Particularly if they don't like Somali. So this is an indication that the prosecutors probably are not big fans of Somali, and maybe not big fans of Youngman either, right? For what he did, throwing the brick through the window in combination with deepfakes. So he's got a lot of things. Both of these characters, Youngman and Ramsey, they're perhaps not very well liked by the prosecutors, which is why they're keeping those charges on, which is good because it increases the potential time that we can see him in jail. Which, once again, to be very clear, because a lot of other channels are doing clickbait right now, the maximum is 12 years and 6 months. That is the maximum amount that they are allowable under the law. Right? They cannot go beyond that. It's not 31 years. It's not 40 years. It's not 50 years on life in prison. It's 12 years and 6 months. If you see any other information, this is on February 3rd of this month, Hank actually submitted a request for clarification of this scope of the issue. So Hank went out and submitted this document. That means conclusively that Ramsey is worried about the settlement, that the settlement may not go through. Because once again, 4 months ago, legal experts, not just me, but Korean lawyers, Korean people I spoke to that know the legal process, they thought the charges would be dropped. And that's standard. That's completely standard in the criminal process in Korea. The fact is, on January 26th, there was closing arguments held in Youngman's case, and the deepfake charges still in place. So there's other cases there. They've already had closing arguments, and the deepfakes are still there. And his sentencing is set for March 9th, 2026. That's also very odd. It's 43 days after closing argument, which is highly unusual because typically they only do these things 2 weeks after. So what they might be waiting for is tomorrow's case. So a lot of this may hinge on what is said tomorrow in court and what goes down tomorrow in court as to what they do with these deepfake charges. I think if they feel like the Bong Bong charges are strong enough, maybe they do drop that. If the Bong Bong once a week, maybe they keep those around. We'll see. It may be because the prosecutor really wants to hit Johnny with at least one deepfake charge. So they've got 2 to pick from here, and they want to hit him with that. So because of that, we're going back to our chart. We've removed the strike-through. There was a strike-through on Youngman. We've removed that. We've now got that back into play. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 criminal counts here against Johnny Somali, which he's only defending 2 on not guilty. The rest he's pled guilty to 4, right? The rest he's pled guilty for. And once again, the maximum is 12 years, right? And then you've got some time for the Minor Offenses Act. So you're not going to get more than that, more than 12 years and maybe 2 months or so, right? You're not going to get more than that. 12 years is the maximum. So the punishment, that's still the total. And each count will simply increase the minimum. I think that Somali is still likely to get jail time, and my estimate is still between 1 to 7 years. That's still where I'm at in terms of my general estimate. If they aggravate the factors, it can go up to 10. And if they hit with both deepfake charges, it could be more. That's very possible. But I think 1 to 7 is a reasonable range for reasonable justice time. So Ramsey's lawyer previously made a lot of bad arguments. And even Johnny today was making some bad arguments about what they're going to do with
This is ridiculous. Why don't we talk about how she went on live stream and shared the same thing? Is Korea a racist country? Is Korea a sexist country? That's believable. That's going to be brought up. We have the evidence.
So what he's trying to say is, hey, I'm going to try to make this into, if you don't charge Bong Bong, this is going to be very, very bad look for Korea because it's going to look like you're racist or sexist, etc. But guess what? That's not going to fly, right? The court has discretion on who to charge, and in this case, when they look at Bong Bong as the victim, and they look at Bong Bong as a more sympathetic victim than, let's say, Jungman, right, they may choose not to go forward with that, and they may see Ramsey and his lack of remorse and say, nope, we're not going to go for that. And these other bad arguments that they've been throwing in there are not going to apply. They argued that Johnny couldn't be guilty for a deepfake because there was no intent and it wasn't sexist, which is a horrible argument because making out with etc. and there's an intent. The intent is to publish it. That's all that's required under the statute in Korea, according to legal experts I've spoken to. It's not, you don't need to have malicious intent or evil intent. If you publish this thing online, that is enough. Johnny asked for an expedited trial. The judge had denied that back in October and said that some foreign defendants can be up there for 6 years. So he's got very little tolerance for Johnny Somali's complaining. And also, they're trying to argue the Lotte World charge even after the guilty plea. So they've already pled guilty to the Lotte World and the obstruction of business there, but they're still trying to argue it. So I would expect that that is an argument they might try to bring up yet again tomorrow as the case. Now let's compare the difference between Jungman and Somali. Jungman, who is Korean, has submitted 7 apologies in his case. And remember, he's still got that same deepfake charge. 7 apologies. Somali has not submitted a single apology letter. He has not apologized at all so far. That is a big deal in the Korean court system and is massive for the adjudication of this case. And the fact that his deepfake charge has not been dropped really gives us a chance that they could be hit with closure. Now, Bong Bong's performance on the stand is going to be critical, that he comes in there and she tells the truth. But we now have some information saying that this is from this court, where she says, wow, it's tomorrow, right? Today. Yesterday. Johnny Somali court. Bonnie, you decided your life. Johnny needs to suffer harsh consequences. And then she goes, I will just say the truth and do it for free. So she's got that in there. And it seems like she's in the frame of mind for positive outlook on this. That's all she has to do. She will be cross-examined by Johnny's lawyer. Now, we'll try to get the best of what happens, through the ways that we can try to get the information that happen. But like I said, it may be a closed court case where we may not be able to get in tomorrow. So we'll do the best to get the updates to you as they come out. It's going to happen at 3:40 p.m. in Korean Standard Time. So we'll probably have our coverage coming out a little bit. So I want to know what you guys think and what you think about Johnny Somali, the case, and everything else that's going down in Korea. I'm going to catch you.
Against the world! Final 10 seconds! Careful, Ty! I am finished!
D. Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, had a disastrous day in court today where pretty much everything that could go wrong went wrong. There were some surprises, some twists, and we had some updates after my coverage to bring you today. Some extra information, some extra, a little extra spice to make it even worse. And of course, we're going to cover this all on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Escrow, American attorney who's been covering the Somali Ramsey Khalid Ismail saga, the criminal saga in Korea, from beginning to end. And boy, we were waiting for this trial date for months, and it did not disappoint. This was the most crazy, dramatic day to date, and also the longest to date, at clocking in at a little over 25, 26 minutes, which compared to the last hearings, which only lasted
multiverse offers don't have to be a...
I am no golden god. I am simply a man who wishes to use his power for good. I will bring peace.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
As Sorcerer Supreme, I oversee other magical adepts.
Every time I see you, I think to myself, as long as Spider-Man is still around, everything will be all right. I don't mean it that way. You just mean a lot to a lot of people.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am strengthened for battle. By Ashtor, there are baby wizards everywhere these days. I have the truth. Open soul. Unfinished business here. I'm opening a portal.
Better stop that vehicle!
Team percentage!
Watch your step! Turn around! They're behind us!
I am strengthened.
Still a chance to stop them!
Enemy in front of us. One couldn't win without the other. Good medicine. I purge the darkness. Bullets bested again by spellwork.
Get in there, y'all.
Stop them in their tracks! Hold still, I'm trying to help.
Enemy in front of us. Powers dark magic. By the eye of Agamotto. Resist.
Dinner time, love!
The Sorcerer Supreme
They hit a
returns.
checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
The Sorcerer Supreme returns.
Better stop that vehicle!
More tentacles than Gargantos himself. I am strengthened for battle.
Hold still, I'm trying to help. They've made it halfway! Stop them!
Release that long shot!
Someone clip this! Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
mortal pain is no match for the Sorcerer Supreme.
There you are, you cheeky gits. What's your
I am strengthened for battle.
He stopped them in their tracks.
next time they will bring bigger monsters?
Judge, jury, executioner!
Dinner time, love!
Good medicine. Out, dark magic. By the eye of Agamotto. Enemy in front I cast you back to the depths.
Release the Glortron!
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
For the Sorcerer Supreme.
Cheers, mate!
Better stop that vehicle.
I am strengthened for battle. Our enemies are near. More tentacles than Gargantus himself. Their devotion to Namor The doctor is in.
Don't give them another inch. Or else. Better stop that vehicle.
Judge, jury,
Release the Glortron! Dinner time, love!
Well, you can't expect to win them all.